Hey everybody, Death Stalker here. Just thought I'd like to talk to you about my second season racing for Honda. Now, I had a few races and things were going pretty good, and we had packed up the trailer with a bunch of other guys and headed off to Quebec to race a racetrack at Sanair. Now, the Sanair racetrack was actually a drag strip, and what had happened was they had taken the return road from the drag strip and put up a few cross bends and whatnot in it to call it a racetrack. Now, having come from, racetracks, like Mossport and Shannonville and so forth, where it was actually a proper road course, this was sort of an eye-opener for me, but no one else seemed to be too bothered by it, so I just hunkered down and proceeded to learn the track. So we went up for the first practice session, and things were actually going pretty good. And I was going down a straightaway in the drag strip, probably doing about 115, 120 miles an hour. And all of a sudden, my motor stopped. And I recognized immediately what it was. It was a seizure. So I pulled the clutch in and coasted back to the back of the track, and then luckily it was downhill from there, so I just sort of half coasted along and edged it along with my foot to get back to the pits. So got the bike back in the pits and got out of my leathers because it was a stinking hot day, and my mechanic was actually at the track because he was working on their one of their customers' bikes for the week, and he told me to to pull the carburetor off and the reed blocks, and we'll take a look and see what happened. So I took that part of the bike apart to get access to the crank and whatnot. Not so much that we could repair it, but just to see what was going on. And he showed up and stuck his finger in the hole and brought it out, and it was all full of little bits of aluminum particles. So basically, my bike is seized, which basically meant now, I've been there with the TZ, but unlike the TZ, I was a little more prepared. I actually had the spare parts for the bike. Now, he was obligated to take care of the bike at Sanair. He was there for, so he really couldn't do anything on my bike, and he didn't have the time, but he coached me through it. And I basically then proceeded to spend all of Saturday tearing my bike apart. If I had any questions, I went back to see my engine builder, and so a lot of back and forth. And I had the whole thing apart, had a brand new crank in it, new pistons. The one cylinder had to be replaced because it had been seized, and it was going to require a little bit more work to fix it, but I had a spare cylinder. The Honda was actually pretty, when I got it, it was actually pretty well supplied with spares. And because I was doing it all by myself, and I'd never really rebuilt an engine from scratch before, it took a lot longer than it would have been for someone with a lot of experience. So it actually took me till Sunday morning to actually get my bike running again. So I while this was going on, like whenever I had a minute, I'd run to the head official and ask it. Like, I wasn't going to make the heat race, would I still be able to race on Sunday? And they said, well, we don't know until Sunday comes around. So Sunday came around, and I actually even missed practice because I still was trying to get the bike back in the frame and whatnot. And they said, yeah, you can start, but you'll be at the back of the grid. And it's like, no problem, racing. I get to race, that's all that matters. So the time came for the race, and went out and started in the grid. Had a good start. I didn't have a lot of time on the track because the engine failed right in the first practice session. But I was actually having some good runs. I had a couple battles with a couple guys and slowly working my way up towards the top 10. And I got on the straightaway from the big bowl turnaround they had. And as I got on the gas, all of a sudden the engine started racing. And I wasn't certain what was going on. But anytime I tried to give the bike a lot of gas, it would just make a lot of noise but not really go anywhere. And I looked down and I could see something that was strange with my clutch. So what I ended up doing was backing off and just coasting back into the pit area to to have a good hard look at the bike. And what actually had happened was the clutch basket on my bike is held on by this very large nut, and it actually required to be torqued. And to torque it, you actually had to have this special tool, as a clutch basket wrench from Honda, and I didn't have one. And I'd spent some time going around the pits to try to find one. And the mechanic, it's actually several of the mechanics that gave me some suggestions, and I tried them all, and I just could not get my torque wrench to click to tell me that I actually had it done to the proper torque. But I had thought I had done it as good as I could have done, but apparently it wasn't. And what happened was the nut had backed off, and then the basket was allowed, the clutch basket was allowed to move, which resulted in my clutch slipping. So there was actually no real damage to the bike or the engine. It was just, unfortunately, not having the proper tool to set that part cost me a finish in the race. So on the Monday when I got home, I phoned Honda up right away and I ordered that special tool. And there was a couple other in the manual for the bike that I picked up and ordered those as well, just for future reference. So overall, it was kind of a bit of a downer weekend for not getting to race, but it was pretty interesting in the fact that I actually was able to, with my own two hands, tear apart a Grand Prix motorcycle and put it back together again, and darn if it didn't work, which really impressed me. And the interesting thing was, there's a shitload of gravel here. Just gotta ease through this shit. The interesting thing was, when we got home, my engine builder pulled me aside and he told me how impressed I was with the fact that I tackled that engine. He says a lot of guys that he's seen over the years, when they had something like that happen, they just kick back, sit back and start drinking beer the whole weekend, and just like, oh, my weekend's over. And he was very impressed with the fact that I just, I came down and pulled it apart. When I had a problem, I asked for some help, for advice and whatnot, and I took it and I just kept on going. And it actually cemented the relationship between my engine builder and me. And a couple years later, when I got an engine from Honda, he did tons of work on that bike and on the engine, and I probably had the fastest 250 in the country for around 4 years. And that was the neat thing about it. So I hope you enjoyed it.